Hello and welcome back to LOWBORN, and what we're going to do is we're going to attempt to try and take some of these Nord towns. Hilariously enough, I actually made my way here before the Khuzait decided to declare war, and now that they've done that, I see that actually it would have been a lot better for me to target some of their things. Wait a minute, Varcheg? Didn't I take that just now? Yeah, yep. I did take that just now. So yes, the Nords, as you can see, are actually launching a little bit of a retaliation against us, and I'm not a big fan of that. I was actually suffering from quite a few crashes in the previous episode, so I'm very much hoping that I may have fixed that, because I did install better exception window. And the funny thing about, you know what the most hilarious thing about me doing that? I installed it, and 5 minutes later it crashed, and you know what the cause of the crash was? Better exception window. I find that quite funny. I don't know why. I have no idea why that always happens to me, but there's another one. Alright, so we're gonna try this again. I'm actually kind of a little bit worried here. A little bit worried that we are actually going to be seeing crashes almost all the time now, and because of that, it may in fact be that I will not be able to continue the series unless I can find which mod is actually causing the problem. That's the funny thing. That's the reason why I was always very, very careful about installing mods, just because I don't know which one's going to cause a crash at some point later on in the campaign. I can only hope that this one is... I don't know. I have no idea what it could be. That's the thing. I have no idea what it could be. I have had no crashes whatsoever up until this point, which is making it very, very weird to me. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna have to exit. Yeah, I'm gonna have to exit this siege, and we're gonna have to do a. Yeah, we're gonna have to do a bunch of field battles here, because these guys, as you can see, they would just clamber onto us as much as they possibly can with this. A significant amount of people already appearing. I don't even know how did they even do that? How were they even that fast? But yes, anyway, as I said, if we do continue to suffer significant amounts of crashes, there isn't very much more that I can do apart from actually install a better exception window, which is what I did already. And as I said, that was the thing that actually caused me to crash, which is quite funny. So I don't know. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to diagnose the issue, because I do have, as I said, so many mods, and I haven't had any issues up until the previous episode, so I'm not entirely sure what caused that. I don't have any performance problems, or it doesn't feel like I'm having any performance problems at the very least, so I'm not sure if there's some kind of weird discrepancy or something like that happening. I have no idea, but yeah, as I said, if we do continue to have them, it may very well signal the end of the series, which would be kind of annoying, actually, because I was enjoying myself. I hope you were as well. I mean, you know, hopefully. But yeah, anyway, I'm just letting you know that maybe that is going to be what will happen, which would be very, very sad indeed, because I personally would love to continue this, because I am having a whale of a time with our forces, well, generally I did make a small mistake with our retinue. It would have been much better for me to level up the tier 1 units as much as they could level up, and then create a tier 2 unit, and then level up those tier 2 units, and so on and so forth. And basically, you know, that would have improved their experience gain dramatically, and it would have actually allowed us to scale them up much, much faster than it is right now. Because right now I'm going to have to level them up into tier 6 units, and then the tier 6 units will have to actually get kills. They'll actually have to do damage in battles for them to gain any kind of experience for their skills to actually level up. And the funny thing about tier 6 units, their skill cap is literally like 780 or what is it now? No, it can't be 780. It's got to be it's got to be something else, right? Yeah, it's some other setting. I think the amount of skill that they can spec is 780 or something like that. I think their maximum is more like, I don't know, 250 or 300 or something along those lines. So yeah, it would be absolutely fantastic if we could continue. But, you know, as I say, if these crashes continue to happen, I can't do anything about it. There's no way I would be able to actually ascertain which mod is causing the problem. Because there are so many. So anyway, there you go. There's a nice little victory for us right there. Obviously, here's the thing. These guys, they're going to be pretty easy for us to deal with. I did actually... Didn't I execute... No, I didn't. I executed the Sturgeon guy. Didn't I? Ah, yes. Okay, so yeah. I was kind of maybe hoping that we would be able to execute the Nord leader. But yeah, he's going to be a little bit difficult for us to actually catch up with, I assume. Okay, let's do some... Really? Okay, they actually managed to get inside. That was kind of unfortunate because of that, we now have a significant amount of people in the garrison. Obviously, that's going to make it so that it's almost impossible for us to besiege this. Let me actually just wait here for a little bit of time. Maybe they're going to... Yeah, no. They're being they're being very cautious here, of course. That is to be expected. Okay, so I am actually going to be changing tact here. Then, I suppose. I don't really want to go back onto this portion of the enemy's territory. Because if I do that, you know what's going to happen. I'm just going to get attacked by a significant army, and it's going to be very, very problematic. I think we'll go over to Varnovapol. Yeah, I think we'll do that. Actually, let me just save real fast because... yes, I'm a little bit worried. Just in case, okay? Just in case. You never know. It might be due to sieges that the crash actually occurs, because as soon as I enter a siege, usually very, very shortly after that, it does cause a crash. So let's just have a look and actually see whether that happens. Hopefully I'm not jinxing it by mentioning it, but yeah, well, we'll see. Let's just speed things up a little bit here. And hopefully we'll be able to build these before anyone appears. Oh, hello. What? Really? Okay, I'm actually very surprised about this. Okay, this is a very interesting maneuver that she's deciding to go for here. This is a little bit weird, to be honest, because from my perspective, I feel like it's kind of strange. I don't know why anyone would actually do this. But she's coming in basically by herself with the garrison. Now, I'm not saying that this is a bad idea, but I mean, technically, she could have waited a very significant amount more time and then gone in, and then we would have been completely and utterly unable to defend ourselves. But in this situation, we have so many insane people, it's unlikely we're going to lose. So yeah, this is a pretty bad idea for her to do this, but let's actually just see. You know what? I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt, because let's face it, you know, she does have some good units, right? They do have some pretty high tier people, so we want to make sure that we are as careful as possible when dealing with them. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do this. I know. This is a strategy. I know. It's one of the most rare things that you're going to see on my channel, because I never use strategy ever, do I? No, never. Not in a million years. I would not be caught dead using strategy, because I'd be dead on the floor. Yes. Most of the time, anyway. Okay, yeah, so this is the point. Basically, what I want to try to do is force the enemy into, you know, coming into this area. I mean, duh, you know, obviously, of course. That's what we're going to try to do here. And if they can come over here, then this is going to be great, because as soon as they come in here, they will just get absolutely slaughtered. I highly doubt... Oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, we might have some issue. Oh, really? What? What? You see this? You see my utter insane, extremely efficient attacking of... well, nothing at all, because I just hit the air. That was great. Yeah, that was wonderful. Yeah, I mean, that happens, doesn't it? Yeah, that happens. I'm not used to fighting against enemy... yeah, I am actually used to fighting against enemy cavalry, aren't I? Yeah, but not used to fighting against the Crusade. This is the first time we've actually faced the Crusade in this playthrough, which is maybe not that rare. But yeah, these guys are going to be quite damaging if we let them. So that's the reason why I'm kind of just letting my thrown weapon guys just do the damage, just because they are going to absolutely slaughter every single thing. And I do have to be a little bit careful about the enemy's archers as well, because they do have quite a few master archers. But that shouldn't be too bad. Ooh, some big... Oh, okay, I just died. There you go. Look at that. That's kind of what I was talking about beforehand. This is maybe going to be a bit of a problem now, because actually, is it going to be a bit of a problem? I feel like my forces will probably be completely fine to win this. Let's actually just speed it up and see what happens, because we may have to retreat, but my forces are really good. At least I feel like they are basically carrying the entire thing. Like, it's usually a case where the player character is kind of like a half and half, you know. Usually it's like, oh yeah, the player character is going to get, you know, a couple of, well, you know, 50, 100, 150 kills, something like that. As you can see, we're losing a couple of people right now. Victory for us right there, and we don't have anything to worry about. They did manage to, well, I think they basically retreated in the end, didn't they? I think so. Anyway, we can now just take these guys right here, and yeah, there we go. Okay, I think that's all we're going to take. I'm not going to take any more prisoners just in case, but I think we actually took... Did we take the castle just now? I think we may have just taken the castle, which is pretty significant, if I do say so myself. Let's actually just see the two-handed version of this. It's only got 102 cutting damage. Not a terribly big fan. They do have 95 swing damage though. But the thing with these kinds of weapons is that a one-handed / two-handed weapon does have a slower attack speed. You know what? I'm still going to use it just in case. I'm thinking maybe it's going to be quite fun. We'll try it out. You know, we'll try it out. See if it's actually going to be somewhat good for us. And yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah, so we actually did take this. I'm not going to claim it for myself, of course. This is going to be really, really harsh, actually. So I'm not sure how we're going to really do this because, well, I mean, we've got a bunch of, yes, a bunch of issues, a bunch of big problems. Ah, yes. Oh, wow. Okay, never mind. Okay, yaha. Ho ho, hey. That's not going to work. Okay, I will save just in case. But what we're going to do is I'm actually going to get out of here. I am going to get out of here right now. I can't... my fleet is already at the settlement. How is my fleet already at the settlement? I have no idea how. Did I boat over here? I don't think so. Okay, well, we can vote for the new owner. Let's see. Who do we have here? Well, I'm just going to vote for this guy. Just a little bit. And we're just going to attack her real quick as well with a nice little auto-resolve there. She was obviously trying to get into the town. And I want to try to prevent anything like that from happening because otherwise we're just going to be, well, making things more difficult for ourselves. So yes, as you can see here, you're not going to be allowed to dock at port, but that's okay because we could disembark over here and then we can just attack it straight away. However, there are 1,200 people here. So the question is, can I go back... Oh, Revel, yeah, Revel got taken, obviously. The question is High King... Yes. Mr. CALADOG is coming over here to take Varcheg. That is absolutely perfect. That's probably one of the greatest things that he could do right now. This is absolutely amazing. Okay, very, very pleased with him right now. Let me see what I can do here. I need to get rid of some things, so... I need to get rid of 4 things. I don't really want to get rid of anything, to be honest. Yeah, the Falksmen. I like Falksmen quite a great deal, so I didn't really want to get rid of them, but kind of had to. Alright, so we'll just build the siege camp, and we'll see. I doubt we're actually even going to be getting any starvation mechanic whatsoever. Feels to me like starvation doesn't really happen that often with the current mod setup. I'm not sure what's causing that, because for me... Whoa, wait a minute. Why do I... Are you serious that I have 9,600 days without any food? Wow. Okay. I wasn't expecting that. 9,600 days? I mean, I doubt I could play the game for that long, to be honest, but there you go. Wow, that's pretty insane. Oh no! Look at that, we lost this guy. No, okay. Yeah, no, we actually lost one of our wonderful Wow, he was only 60. Are you serious? You can't die at 60, sir. That's way too young. Okay, well, unfortunately for us, our friend, unpronounceable name, has died. He was reputed to be devious, but soft-hearted. And indeed, there you go. How old is Barney now? He's 55. Ooh, okay. Well, hopefully we're not gonna have any, well, there's too many issues with that. Ooh, look at what we have going on here. We've got Mr. CALADOG coming over here and actually helping us out, and we've already taken down the walls, which is absolutely fantastic. So, yeah, obviously I did manage to do a small naval battle. They did actually decide to try and attack us, but it was very, very simple. So, obviously we did get 3 perks for Mariner skill, which is really, really nice, because I believe I might actually be able to get that 50% increased armor penetration, which would definitely help us out. Let's go for enemy of the wood right there. 20% morale loss suffered by enemy ships in battle. There we go, thank you. And we're also going to be taking this. Yes. This is extremely, extremely powerful in my opinion. And what else do we have going on here? Okay, so we've got some one-handed skill. We're going to go for trainer there. Then we have Istiona actually leveling up a little bit as well. And Rylan the Cow Thief. Rylan the Cow Thief, thank you. And he actually leveled up. Okay, so let's get him some scouting skill, I guess. I have no idea. But yeah, anyway, we are, well, am I the leader here? Apparently, I'm the leader here, despite the fact that Mr. CALADOG is actually available. It's a little bit strange. Okay, let's just try to murder the catapults. There we go. Okay, so we destroyed the catapults. This means that we will be able to, well, capture maybe this with very minimal issues. A little bit worried. A little bit worried for a variety of reasons, but let's just try to convert a bunch of prisoners while I have the excess morale to be able to do that. I have 38,000 days worth of food. I think I need to get, I think I need to sell some of that stuff, don't you think? Yes. Let me actually just save real quick. Did I already save? I don't know. I think I might have, but I'm just paranoid now about crashes, so I'm just literally saving every 2 seconds. Anyway, let's go in, see what we can do. I do have that new sword that would be quite fun to continue trying out. I did try it out in the naval battle. It was pretty easy for us to use. It was actually not too bad. It was actually a pretty fast swinging weapon. As you can see, it's got quite a fast swing speed in comparison to my previous sword. Literally had a 90 swing speed, and this has a 95, so it is a little bit better, a little bit faster. And I'm actually just gonna wait here for a real quick second because I don't really want to go in myself. And the funny thing about this is that obviously the Botanians, they have a lot of people on the field here, right? I don't really want to put myself in danger. Like, obviously, in one of our previous battles, we literally just had a situation where I just got myself killed because the enemy's thrown weapons just came streaming towards me and managed to hit my face. And that's just how it goes, you know? That's kind of the deal most of the time. If they manage to hit your face, that's just how it's going to go. You know, it's no-brainer pretty much right there. The question is, are we going to be able to actually inflict any damage against these guys with my wonderful spear? Because I actually do really like using the spear in an infantry sense. Unfortunately, you do need a number of people around you to actually make it work, because otherwise you're going to have these situations where the enemy is just consistently capable of blocking you, and that can be rather annoying, as you might expect. So you do have to be a little bit careful with that, despite the fact that I do have a mod. Haha, take a drink. Haha, yes. But yes, despite the fact that I do have a mod that reworks spears and makes spears more effective in close quarters combat, they are still not going to be effective when enemies are literally right in your face. You know, it's not really gonna work out too well in that sense. But they do a lot of damage despite that, and I very much appreciate it. I mean, you can see here, look at how much damage we're actually dealing right now. It's very, very nice, very satisfying actually. Obviously, I've talked about this time and time again, you know, the amount of penetration that you can get with a spear, especially, And for some reason, I am completely stuck. Okay. Yeah, it seems like these enemy forces really wanted to push us against the wall there. Don't know why, but yes. Anyway, there we go. Nice little hit there. And then we've got a lot of high-tier troops coming in as well. These Dark Khans are obviously going to be quite dangerous. Yeah, but this is exactly what I'm talking about. If you have a lot of enemy forces that don't have their shields up at the time, and you manage to approach them from an area that they don't see, like for example from the side or from behind or something like that, then you can actually deal massive damage with a spear. Like this, for example. Look at this. Look at what I'm actually capable of doing right here. Because these guys are basically just ignoring me right now for some reason. And in general, you could, if you were better at this than I am, then you could probably manage to get probably quad kills at once right there. You know, you could probably get at least quad kills. And obviously, you know, I'm not saying that this is better than a two-handed, right? Because a two-handed weapon is fundamentally just so much better for something like this, because generally sweeping strikes are going to be better for you know, any kind of cleave, whereas thrusting and stuff like that, that's very, very good if you want to sort of like stay away from the opponent, keeping your enemies at an arm's length, as it were. And yeah, if they do manage to lower their guard for any particular reason, like attacking one of your friends or just generally being a little bit lax in their defenses, then you can actually do quite significant amounts of damage. A little bit worried now. I'm by myself right here, but the enemy is basically done, as you can see from the combat strength up there. But obviously the reinforcements are making things a little bit uncomfortable for us. We don't need to worry about it too much though, because our athletic skill is so good that we can pretty much just run away from them almost forever here, despite the fact that I am actually running in a very inefficient manner. If I wanted to run, like actually run away, then obviously I would do it in a different way. We'd just run full speed ahead instead of attempting to attack them consistently. So yeah, there is also that. But yeah, we're fine. We're actually going to be okay here. And indeed, look at this. I am actually managing to get some kills despite the fact that they are in my face. Quite good. I like it. As I say, generally you would be able to potentially use your one-handed a little bit better here. And obviously if you're a two-handed character build, well, you're just going to go to town. You're going to have a great time. You're not going to have any problems whatsoever. Because you could just wade into something like this, for example, and you'd be able to absolutely massacre everyone in sight. But I do like the satisfaction that one feels from this, you know, because you literally will just go in there and you'll just be hitting so many enemies at once. It's just really, really enjoyable. But otherwise, I think we're pretty much done. Yeah, I think we're pretty much done. These guys can't really do much. I do like taking advantage of the guard perk, or guards perk. And the guards perk, obviously, as you know, the guards perk is very, very good for headshots, right? So, or shall we say head strikes with your polearm. And when you're able to do that to multiple enemies at once, especially if they have really, really good helmets, you're going to be seeing huge amounts of damage coming out from that. And I personally really, really like that. Generally, the only way that a spear at this point could be really better is literally just having the ability to crush, right? The ability to crush through blocks, but obviously that is... I think you should probably reserve that for spears that are used on horseback, right? Because if you're able to crush through blocks when you're on horseback, that makes sense from a realistic perspective. You know, that just makes all the sense in the world, because if you're on a horse that's literally barreling towards some opponent and the guy is on foot or something and you're on a horse that's traveling at 3,000 miles an hour, then you're probably going to be able to break his block, right? Yeah, you're probably going to be able to do that. So, yeah, in that sense, obviously, I don't think that spears should, you know, I don't think spears should crush if you're on foot, right? If you're on foot, then obviously it's not going to... You're not going to have enough speed or enough power behind your strikes to be able to really do that. Most of the time. But if you're on a horse, then I definitely think it should. Obviously, we did play another mod by the name of the Old Realms, and I believe that they actually added that particular attribute, that particular trait, to the spears. And I was very much in favor. I thought it was absolutely fantastic, because despite the fact that the enemy also has access to it, because let's face it, you know if you're going to get charged or something by an enemy that has a spear or something like that, or a lance, then you will be suffering for it if you manage to, be in front of them when they're trying to couch lance at you or something like that. It will be a very devastating attack. But that's exactly what it should be, That is exactly what it should be. Anyway, I'm going to basically just speed things along, because I think we're going to be completely fine here. I don't think we really need to worry too much about this. I'm trying to sort of keep a little bit away from most of the opponents here, so that they don't necessarily block me instantaneously, because there are many times where you can actually kind of bait them into a bit of an offensive attack if you don't face them. It's a bit of an AI thing, obviously, because they will just, they'll play like NPCs. But, yeah, it is actually quite effective to do it that way, because you can literally just, well, basically face away from them, wind up your attack, and especially because, if you're using a spear, right? If you're using a spear, this is especially true, because the spear has much more reach. But if, you can face away from them, wind up your attack, and then you can thrust at them from a pretty far distance away, and you can actually do some pretty nice damage that way, because then the enemy will open themselves up for attack. Most of the time, that will work out. Sometimes they will just be hyper defensive mode and it will not work, but yeah, anyway, I think we'll probably just speed through the rest, because this is definitely a victory for us. And that is Omor. That is Omor successfully captured. And we've got some more reinforcements actually coming in here. And there you go. That is indeed it. It looks as though they are running away from us right now. And I'm just going to zoom ahead here. I think, yep, there we go. There was just one. There was just one guy holding out. That is hilarious. All right, so there you go. We did manage it. That was literally 1,400 enemies. Actually, wait, no, 1,200 enemies. And we should be able to just go into the keep here. Very nice. Look at that. Okay, we managed to do it, and indeed we are going to be taking some prisoners. I don't really care about taking all of them at the moment. Because we're, well, very clearly, I'm not really leveling my roguery skill, so there is no point. Because otherwise I'd have to sort through them, and I'd have to sell them and all that stuff, and, well, to be honest, I just don't actually need that. Decreased shield damage taken. I don't need that either. But funnily enough, my banners are... I wouldn't mind decreased range damage taken, but this one is not a very good one. I'd like something a little bit higher than 5%. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get that, unfortunately, so we'll just have to move on from here. Okay, so how much... Wait a minute. I now only have 378 days worth of food? I guess it was doing some weird calculation in regards to the garrison, right? In regards to garrison or the siege or something like that, I assume. Anyway, I'm not going to capture this either. I'm basically just trying to get the Battanians back on their feet. I'm trying to make sure that their economy is kick-started back up and running, because otherwise we are going to have significant issues. But obviously I'm going to get rid of a bunch of the grain here, because we are just absolutely over-encumbered like no one's business. And indeed, I am going to be selling a load. Actually, wait a minute. Let's not sell these. Let's do something about that in just a second. Nice. Okay, thankfully the autosave came in. All right, so we are just going to go ahead and do this. I want to try to get more cerebral trait. I think that's probably going to be pretty useful for us. But yeah, what we'll do is going to go in here, and we're going to just do a little bit of butchery right here. There we go. The main reason why I want to do that is for potential steward skill, but I don't even really need that. I mean, we're literally only 2 skill points away from maxing it out. I don't think it's particularly necessary, but look at how much I was actually getting from this. 287 for selling meat at this place. And if I was actually a trader, and getting trading skill and needing trading skill or something like that, you know, we're literally getting 36,000 from the meat alone, which is very, very useful. All right, so the question is, do I want to invest more in a bank here? I don't think so, right? I don't think it's really necessary. My banks are absolutely, they're just going crazy right now. The interest alone. I would love a way for me to withdraw the money from, you know, somewhere else. You know, online banking. Online banking would be fantastic, but no, that is not a thing. That is not a thing because the internet has not been invented yet. Because, well, let's face it, I believe it's King Harlaus that invents the internet, isn't it? Yes, I think he does. Anyway, yeah, I think we're basically done. I think we're basically done here because, as you can see, look at what we got going on here. We got a very nice consolidation. Unfortunately, the Nords did manage to take Varnovapol, but that is to be expected. They had literally, what, 3,000 people or something like that. So it was very, very obvious that they were going to do that. However, we have now struck a bit of a blow against the Crusade, and obviously we are more than likely going to be attacked by the Vlandians very, very soon. I wouldn't be surprised, at the very least. Now, here's the thing. If Barney dies, we do have a really, really nice backup in our son. He's absolutely exceptional with his trade skill, as you can see right there. He is 33, so he's not super young anymore, but he's still going to have more than, well, probably more than 30 years left on his life, at least more than 30 years at the very least. So that's going to be very, very nice for us. As you can see, I have been capturing huge amounts of these vassals as well. Yeah, so they are, yeah, it's because they continue to come to me in naval battles, you see. A lot of them continue to come to me in naval battles, and they just get themselves killed. Anyway, that is going to be it for this episode. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.